The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) plans to boost dollar sales for school fee payment as well as overseas travel so as to reduce the premium paid on the black market and support the naira. The UPS Bank met with senior bankers at the industry event on Friday to discuss ways to address dollar shortages on the official market. The pledge came after it said last week that it had disbursed $2.83 billion to critical sectors of the economy between December and January, even as analysts estimate outstanding dollar demand at around $4 billion. On Friday, the naira hit a new low of 5.16 to the dollar on the unofficial market. However, due to the CBN's inability to meet dollar demand, the change have tended to source dollars from private sources to resell at a much higher margin. The bank normally sells around $8,000 a week each to some 3,000 licensed retail operators who account for less than 5% of foreign currency trading in Nigeria, but help drive the exchange rate due to the scarcity of dollars on the official channel. The central bank, under pressure from the government, has been pressing retail operators to narrow the gulf between the official and parallel exchange rate. Analysts expect the central bank to allow greater flexibility on the currency this year. Hong Kong stocks extended early gains and closed at 18-month high on Monday, drawing strength from firm mainland stock and commodity markets. The benchmark Hang Seng Index added 0.5% to 24,146.08 points, its highest closest since August 11, 2015, while the Hong Kong China Enterprises Index gained 0.8% to 10,445.48 points. Southbound flows through the Shanghai-Hong Kong Stock Connect recovered slightly on Monday, using 10% of Monday's daily quotal compared with a mere 2.2% in the previous session. Nearly all sectors gained ground at the close, led by consumer staple stocks, as a gauge of energy stocks added 1%, underpinned by rising price of coal and oil. Shares of HNA Group jumped 17.5% on news that the company took a stake of just over 3% in Deutsche Bank and said it could buy further shares in the Germany lender. Oil prices held steady on Monday as investors gauged whether an increase in U.S. drilling rigs and record stockpiles would undermine efforts by producers to cut output and bring the market into balance. Brent futures LCO-C1 were down 5 cents at $55.75 a barrel at 0245 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate Crude CLC1 was unchanged at $53.40, as contracts earlier rose slightly in quiet trading. The crux of the matter is that 90% OPEC compliance is being balanced by ever-increasing U.S. shale production. Meanwhile, U.S. energy companies added oil rigs for a fifth consecutive week, extending a 9-month recovery, with producers encouraged by higher crude prices, which have traded mostly over $50 a barrel since last November. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and other producers, including Russia, agreed last year to cut output almost 1.8 million barrels per day during the first half of 2017. The U.S. rising output helped boost crude and gasoline inventories to record high last week, amid faltering demand growth for the motor fuel. Hedged funds and other money managers raised their net long U.S. crude futures and options positions in the week to February 14th to a new record high, data from the U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission showed on Friday. The increase in long positions leaves the market vulnerable to a downward correction, Analysts have said the U.S. market will be closed on Monday for the President's Day holiday. And news from other African countries. Zimbabwe's crippled health sector has been plunged into further crisis as a strike by state doctors shows no sign of abating, as the doctors are demanding the broke government pays them $700 over 9,000 rands a month. The professionals are also demanding improved working conditions. The government, gynecologists and obstetricians have done tools in solidarity with striking doctors, a major setback in a country battling disease outbreak. The Zimbabwe Association of Doctors of Human Rights, ZADHR, called upon the Ministry of Health and Child Care and Health Service Board to urgently address the concerns of striking doctors as it exposes patients in violations of their right to health care. ZADHR called upon the Ministry of Health and Child Care to urgently improve the conditions of work for health professionals instead of issuing threats of ostracization and victimization. The rights group urged government to ensure essential drugs and medicines were provided in all public health institutions. Zimbabwe's health sector is bearing the brunt of worsening economic crisis marked by shortage of medicines and thousands of professionals seeking greener pastures across borders. A local official says days after Somalia elected a new president, a car bomb ripped through a market in Mogadishu on Sunday, killing 39 people and injuring around 50. The car was driven by a suicide bomber, says Ahmed Abdul Afrax, the mayor of Wadajal district where the bombing happened. The manager of Madina Hospital, Dr. Mohammed Yusuf, says it took in 47 injured people. Al-Shabaab, the Islamist insurgent group that is fighting the UN-backed Somali government, did not immediately claim responsibility. Al-Shabaab has been able to carry out increasingly deadly bombings despite losing most of its territory to African Union peacekeepers supporting the Somali government. This month, Somalia elected a new president, Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, a dual U.S. Somali citizen and a former prime minister. Civil war has riven Somalia since 1991. Aid agencies warn that a severe drought has placed large swaths of the country at risk of famine. We'll go on a short break. More news when we return.